Everyone, I wanted to give you kind of an inside glimpse into how Blackboard is going to be set up because when you're looking at Google Docs, which is what you have access to right now, it's so much information. It's a little bit overwhelming, but I wanted to show you inside of Blackboard, it's not going to be all that information. It's going to be very pared down and just really kind of what you need to have to complete the course. I'm starting you off in the dashboard section because I want to walk you through the different sections. So everything's pretty much going to be in the content section. It's where I like to keep a lot of this stuff. So let's go into the content section. And then from here, you're going to find your learning modules. And your learning modules will have kind of like the weekly activities, the instructions for all the activities, the different lectures, all that kind of stuff. And it's broken down into your introductory first week. So I'll give you all the videos, everything you're going to need to know. That'll be in the first week introduction. And then all the rest of this is broken down into the major stylistic movements from the Renaissance down to the contemporary. And I'll have kind of like the instructions for how many videos you need to watch that week, kind of here how I have it, the example set up. So for the Renaissance, I really am going to keep this one where you really are responsible only for the essential videos for this section, and you're not responsible for any of the pick videos, and you're not responsible for any of the supplemental videos. There's just already so many videos in the Renaissance section. It'll run you about 2.5 hours, and I'm going to kind of maybe play with that a little bit. But 2.5 hours for the videos, which is about the amount of time you would spend in a classroom listening to a lecture. So every class is about an hour and 15 minutes times 2 hours, 30 minutes. So really you have, class time already done and taken care of for the Renaissance section. And since it's kind of the introductory, getting to know, getting to feel out kind of what you're supposed to be doing in this class, I figured the first real section, we would kind of keep it a little bit more simple. So when you look in here, you're going to get your table of contents, and then over in this section, it will kind of break down the rest of the information. So I'm going to close out these folders real quick so you can get an idea of how it's broken down. So you can see you've got Italian Renaissance and you've got Northern Renaissance. In each of these, you've got your essential folder and you've got your pick folder. Now, I'm not going to put the supplemental folder in because, well, it's not necessary for this class. If you want to get that information, it will be in the Google Docs, but here, let's keep it simple, let's keep it clean, and not muck it up with a lot of information. Your essential folder, you're always going to have to watch all the essential videos. The pick folder in Blackboard, I'm only going to put my top choices, kind of maybe 4 to 9, depending on the section, of my favorites, what I think are really kind of like the top of the pick videos. And this is, say you really don't want to take the time, or you don't really know, or you don't have a strong feeling of which pick videos you want to watch. I'll have my top ones, so you can just watch those if you want. Now, if you want to go into the Google Docs, look over the list, the complete list of pick docs or pick artworks, you're totally welcome to do that. I'm just going to put my top few in there. So let's take a look at the Italian Renaissance section. Now, here you're going to see the link to the YouTube and the link to the Google Docs. So let's just click on it so you can see how it kind of interacts. So when we go in here, it's going to link straight into the videos. You're going to see over here they're put in playlist form. You're really only responsible to video 19 right here, but it will have all the videos for this section, all the videos that I have access to in Blackboard that are on the Google Docs form. They're all in here. So you do have 69 videos, but again, you do not need to watch all 69 videos. You're only responsible for these 19 videos. And I am going to give you the timing for, let's move up to Michelangelo's The Last Judgment, The School of Raphael, or School of Athens by Raphael, and Michelangelo's Ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. These are kind of long, so you really are only going to need to watch parts of these videos, and I'll give you the timing for those. Now also, If you want to watch these videos with closed captioning, you just click on the CC, you click on for the closed captions, and that will play the closed captions on the video. It's not necessarily, you just have to turn it on because I couldn't save it with that on there. And what the playlist will do, it'll run through, play all the videos one after another. So if you don't want all the extra information that you can get on, say, Smart History or the other links that I'll have in Blackboard, that's totally fine. You can just listen to the video. Now, the other thing I want to point out is that these will run consecutively, one after another, after another, after another, after another, without you having to interact with them. You will need to kind of cut down and modify the Michelangelo and Raphael videos. Just don't let it run too far, because then you'll start getting into the other videos that are non-essential. So just kind of, you're going to have to be aware when you're doing this, but it is a little bit more hands-off. And this won't have any attached text to it. So let's get back in to Blackboard in case you want text and not just video. So then we have the Google Docs, and Google Docs will link you straight into the Italian Renaissance section of the Google Docs, just like the YouTube that I'll put on here will link you right into the Italian Renaissance YouTube videos, and I'll kind of correlate whatever section we're in to whatever section in the YouTube or in the Google Docs you need to be in. So when this opens up, again, it's kind of what you saw before. All the references, all the essential paintings, sculpture, architecture, pick paintings, on down to the Renaissance, the Northern Renaissance. So this has everything, right? If you want to go in, have everything, or you want access to this information before or after Blackboard has closed down. So remember, at the end of the class, Blackboard will close down again, and you won't have access to this information, but you will be able to keep access to the Google Docs. So let's go back into Blackboard, and let's open up the essentials. And so this will tell you need to watch all of these, and you can click straight onto these and it will open up that particular link to the original source. So we open this up, it goes into Smart History because that's where the original information is. Here you do have text and video together, so this has got both in it. And it's real simple to kind of click in and out of. Now you can also kind of get more of the information here. It tells you Smart History, video, and text. You can click through this way as well, and that will take you through to the video too. If you click on these, remember these with the little stars or the asterisks, they are not in YouTube. They're either a video that was not part of YouTube but on a different website, or it's a just a text image, kind of something you can play around with. It's something else. So let's click on one of those so you can see. So this is just an image, and really it's an image to show you perspective. It shows you the orthogonals, which are these diagonal lines, and so it's to show you perspective, the vanishing point, the horizon line, and so it's just kind of a supplemental image to the information you're going to have about Masaccio's tribute money. So it's really nothing. So some of these in here are not videos at all, and I need to put a little asterisk next to this, but this one's just a little interactive website for the interior of the Sistine Chapel, so you can see the Sistine Last Judgment by Michelangelo. You can zoom in, you can look at the ceiling. So there's no video that goes along with this, there's no text that goes along with this. It's just something you can kind of play around with. You can zoom in pretty far. So it's just kind of a neat, cool tool that you can look around and see what Michelangelo did. Not really anything you've got to do with it. So some of these are going to be like that, and I need to put a little a little star next to that so you know that that's not in the YouTube videos because it's something a little bit different. And it says, open interactive website, kind of tells you a little bit about it. And here I said just a little site to play around with. That's really all it is. So I've given you a little bit of instruction there as well. And it's going to be the same thing for the essentials down here in the Northern Renaissance. So you're going to have to watch all the essentials for the Northern Renaissance. And as you can see, the essential section for the Northern Renaissance is nowhere near as large as the Italian Renaissance. The Italian Renaissance, there's just so many seminal artists, like people who are really, really very important for you to know, and kind of the baseline for what is going on in the Renaissance itself. So most of the time you're going to see something a little bit closer to the Northern Renaissance. There's only, I think, one other section that has as many people in the essential section as we see for the Northern Renaissance. I'm going to usually be keeping it something closer to this for each section, but you have the essentials here. And again, because there's so many videos already, there's nothing in the pick. Now, if there were pick videos for you to choose from, you would go into the pick section and they would be kind of sectioned out like these essential videos. I threw one in here just so that there would be something for us to look at when we were looking at this, but when you actually are in class, that will be gone. And so here are your instructions that say there are already so many essential artworks that you don't need to pick any. So it gives you a little bit of the instructions. Now, let's say there were a couple of videos in here. I put my top, let's say 8 all-time favorite choices for the Italian Renaissance, and I told you pick 4. You could pick, or let's say I had 8 here, and let's say down here in the Northern Renaissance I had 6, and I said, pick 4 for this section. That's 4 out of all of these pick sections. And so let's say you just primarily like the Italian Renaissance and that was all you wanted to do. You would then, either pick your 4 from the top choices that I have here, or you could go into Google Docs, look at all the pick choices and pick from those as well. But, right here I just have an example of the Medici, which is a video. Now, let's say the activity for this week was a journal entry. I would also have that in here. So I've got in here Renaissance Journal. Open that up, and I just put a little nothing little prompt in here, and it says tell me about the the Renaissance, and that would be what your journal entry would be. And so you click on that and it would take you to your journal, and you say create a journal entry. Yay, so fun. Title it The Ren. And then you would, write whatever you thought. I think it's great and beautiful and blah, blah, blah. Give me something better than that, but I'm just kind of giving you an example here. And then you would post your entry. That way it would show up. And that would be pretty much what you've got for the week. You've got your essentials, you've got your pick, and you have your weekly assignment. And so the weekly assignments are just to kind of get you in and to make sure you're doing the work on time. Once the week ends, you cannot get back in and finish that assignment. You have to complete it within the week that it's assigned. So if I had it assigned due by January 5th and you tried to get in on January 6th to complete the assignment, you would not see this journal entry. It wouldn't even show up for you. So you have to get it in and get it done before the 5th. And so that's basically what the interior of Blackboard is going to look like on through the different sections. So I hope that makes you feel a little bit better about the information and not as overwhelmed as maybe like the Google Docs might make you feel. Again, if you have any questions about this, or you are kind of wondering maybe other things about how things might go, you can of course email me in Atlas until the class opens. Before we go, maybe another example of how I might do this journal entry would be maybe doing it as a discussion, and you have to discuss the Renaissance with your classmates. And discussion would be in here, and you do the same thing. You create a thread, and the topic would be discussing the Renaissance. I would give you a little bit more of a pointed question than that. That's pretty open, but you would say, put in your information and you would type in, this is what I think, and blah, 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 and you would hit submit. And then you'd have to comment on a few of your fellow students' discussions. But, they're kind of like small little activities to do to kind of reflect. They're really kind of more to reflect on what you've watched, and then to also make sure that you are checking in and doing the work that you're doing. So I am looking for thoughtful, reflective answers when it comes to these activities. Either the journal entry, showing that you really kind of do understand the Renaissance, or, geared to whatever question I end up asking you, or here, maybe I said, what are the characteristics of the Renaissance, the Italian Renaissance, and you'd say balance, a reflection back to the classical past, um, linear perspective, atmospheric perspective, the change from flat bodies and paint to really kind of rounded, modeled figures that actually show volume. So things of that nature. And I think from the videos, from your book, the other information, I think you'd really be able to start to tell this. And, as you talk with your fellow students, hopefully, you start to grasp some of those concepts. Maybe you missed some and your fellow student actually caught on to those. It's kind of a learning process together. All right. Well, thanks so much, and I look forward to seeing you when class starts in February. But again, you can start looking over some of the information now.